All right. We'll be live in 4, 3. All right. We're live here at NJ Bass Academy. Welcome, everyone, to another installation of Into the Mind of Music right here at NJ Bass Academy. All right, so what's new at NJ Bass Academy? Well, I got things up and running, and we're doing pretty good. Hopefully, the stream is sounding good for everybody. All right, so what's new at NJ Bass Academy? Well, I'm trying to finish up a book on scales and arpeggios that you'll be able to download. And hopefully I'll have that done soon. It's kind of what I've been working on lately. And writing some music. All right, excuse me one second. All right, sorry. What you didn't hear was me coughing to death, but all right. I wonder if we have anybody that's going to know that I'm doing this stream tonight. Hopefully somebody will stop by and say hello. All right. Let's get to some music news without further ado right here. Everybody knows I'm a big Beatles fan, so let's get some news from the Beatles, the Fab Four. All right, well, you weren't supposed to see that, but let's fix that. Okay, just getting back on my feet here. And there you have it. All right. 24 reasons we'll keep watching the Beatles get back forever. All right. If you don't know about the Beatles movie from Peter Jackson, okay, the greatest moments from Peter Jackson's epic gift to Beatles fans. And there they are, the Beatles right there. Oh, look at that. And a Fender Dual Showman in the back. That's what that looks like, that Paul's playing out of. And, of course, the grand piano. All right, so if you don't know, The Beatles Get Back is out on Disney Plus, I believe. And this is an incredible movie that I haven't seen yet. Hopefully I'll get a chance to see it. Maybe I'll go over somebody's house that has Disney. Anyway, here we go. Let's get right to it. Here we go. Sunday's on the phone to Monday. But last Tuesday feels like years ago. Thanksgiving weekend was an epic journey for Beatles fans thanks to Get Back. Peter Jackson's Series finally arrived on Disney Plus, dropping surprise after surprise on our heads. So much to process, so much to argue about. Any random 10-minute stretch of this movie is crammed with too many quotable quotes and musical details to catch the first few times. Rest assured, this isn't just a one-time bombshell event. Get Back is an instant classic that fans will keep watching and re-watching for years to come. When I wrote my Rolling Stone interview last week, I made sure to avoid spoilers. That wasn't easy since these 8 hours are packed with lore never even rumored on the geek circuit, some involving secret microphones and flower pots. But now that it's all out there, let's unpack this glass onion with spoilers galore. So if you haven't seen it and you don't want me to spoil it for you right here, then don't listen. I don't think it spoils it too much. I don't think there's too many things that you would even notice, but it's pretty great. But now that it's all out there, let's unpack this glass onion with spoilers galore. Here are 24 reasons why Get Back is a Beatle experience on the level of anthology or a hard day's night. One will be living with forever. The highlight of the rooftop concert, the joy of seeing Maureen Starkey, Ringo's wife, bop her head to Get Back. Nobody on the roof is a bigger fan than Mo. She was a screaming girl back at the Cavern Club. She's the only person who ever stood in line and paid money to hear this band. The first time she met Ringo, she was asking for his autograph. She waited years for this gig. And this is going to, advertisement is going to come up, right? Okay. At the end, Paul looks over and says, "Thanks, Mo." A beautiful moment that sums up what the Beatles were all about, but also sums up what they are about, even now, which is why this story refuses to fade into the past. Downstairs, right after they all sat in the mixing room, everybody's tired, relieved. George sighs. There'll be no more rooftops. But you can see Mo's sad. It's over, and so is Paul. So they're both sad that it was over after that. They're the only two. Then the playback starts to blast. George closes his eyes and goes to heaven. John grins. "Hey, this is us." That's that priceless shot of all of their shoes, everyone tapping their feet. Now it's a whole room full of Maureen Starkeys. We owe everything to her. When they're working out some possible backup harmonies for Don't Let Me Down, John is into it. Paul is into it. George drawls, "I think it's awful, actually." And that's the end of it, thank God. Later, the director bothers about doing a show on a cruise ship. George says, "The idea of a boat is completely insane." Respect to George, always there with the bitch leadership and crisis demand. The Boiled Testicle Award for the most insufferable presence in this or any other movie, Michael Lindsay Hogg, director of the lousy 1970 documentary Let It Be. He has zero ability to notice when it's his turn to shut up, even as the Fabs roll their eyes at his dippy ideas. What about an orphanage? How does that grab you guys? After seeing Get Back, it seems like the bitter taste of the original Let It Be was MLH looking for an angle. He in a snit, so he made a bad movie. It already seems like a minor footnote in the Get Back story. Number 5. One morning, Paul comes in with a riff in his head. He strums while George and Ringo yawn in his face. Then they notice it. George plays along. Ringo does his hand claps. They're whipping it up. Get Back on the spot. What the F? Whatever else the virtues of this song, never a favorite for me, the writer says. They loved playing it together. For them, the riff is a clubhouse where they can hang out and converse, a goer number, as George Martin would say. I promise I won't keep bashing MLH, but the fact that he had this scene on film, yet suppressed it from Let It Be, it's practically sabotage. When exactly did George get into the lace bow tie thing? Never noticed that before, but he's really committed for a few days. The man's taste in boots and wizard hats is flawless, but since he's George in January 1969, he can wear anything and look hot. Talk about a bombshell. After George quits, John and Paul sneak off to a cafeteria for a top secret talk. Just the two of them. They have no idea the flower pot on the table is bugged. I screamed, alone in my apartment like I just saw the waiter's bow tie on The Sopranos. Ethnically dubious, but wow. So here we are listening in on this private chat. John mourns that their disrespect for George created a festering wound, and we didn't give him any bandages. A week ago, nobody knew this conversation existed, and nobody could have imagined how raw, honest, empathetic it is. This is how these two talked. Yes, it is true. Yes, it is. It's true. It's intense, especially when Paul speculates on the future they all deserve to see come true. Probably when we're all very old, we'll all agree with each other and we'll sing together. All right, hilarious how the Beatles will drag each other all day, yet instantly lash out at anyone who looks sideways at another Beatle. When Glenn Johns asks Ringo to put a dampener on the drum, John yells, "The only dampener around here is you, Glenn Johns." After comments from the booth, Paul and John shout, "We're bloody stars, you know. And look, fuckface, don't comment." It reminds me of one of my favorite John quotes from his 1970 Rolling Stone Lennon Remembers interview. "I can knock the Beatles, but don't let Mick Jagger knock them." Billy Preston. Man, the movie flips as soon as he shows up. He sits down at the electric piano and transforms "Don't Let Me Down" as John yells, "You're giving us a lift, Bill." One of the coolest scenes, John and Bill turned Martin Luther King's "I Have a Dream" speech into "I Want You." She's so heavy. One of my favorite moments is just a couple of seconds. Ringo gets teased by the others when he orders mashed potatoes for lunch. So he makes a sad face for the camera, then breaks into a "Good Morning Sunshine" of a smile. I will think about this smile now and then for the rest of my life. Paul is such a Beatle fan. He writes his own fan fiction. While playing Two of Us, he notes how these songs add up to a concept album. It's like after Get Back, we're on our way home. There's a story, and then there's another one. "Don't Let Me Down." "Oh, darling, I'll never let you down." John, "Yeah, it's like you and me are lovers, Paul." Yeah. As they say this, John and Paul do a bit of flirty mirroring. They both nervously push their hair out of their face. George and Ringo do a terrible job of pretending not to notice this chat, but at least they try. I will think about this scene more now and then for the rest of my life. Mal Evans, the band's road manager and fan, steals the show. You see, he trusted and needed he is. Oh, wait. You see how trusted and needed he is. He fetches their guitars. He stalls the cops. Best Mal moment, the baffled look on his face when Paul says, "Mal, we should get a hammer and an anvil." And now we have film proof that all four Beatles really liked Maxwell's Silver Hammer, at least the first day they played it. John sings a riff on Cole Porter's Chestnut, "Friendship," made famous by Judy Garland. "If you're ever in a jam, here I am. If you're ever in the shit, grab my tit." God, I can't believe he said that. When Peter Jackson releases his 18-hour edit, he simply has to include the full footage of George singing Dylan's "Mama." "You've been on my mind, and I threw it all away." The bootleg audio has made rounds, but George do this is a new experience. But to see George do this, it's a new experience. Yes, it should probably is. The band's respect and difference for Yoko, Linda, and Maureen is striking in comparison with any other male musician's criteria in 1969. You can't exactly imagine Mick Jagger saying Linda's a cameraman. There's a Yoko smile I can't get out of my mind. Ringo slips her a stick of gum. She breaks it in half, hands a piece to John. Her smile with Ringo is just a moment in time that was lost until now. Sitting in a vault for 52 years, When they reminisce about their trip to India, that footage could be the next Peter Jackson documentary in itself. Paul has found words for Cynthia, Lennon, Jane Asher, and Patty Harrison. There is also respect for the Apple Scruffs, the young fans who waited outside. Apple Scruffs, huh? Eileen Kinsley and Sue Ahern. Note how Paul is the one Beatle who looks over and sees them. He doesn't cheese it up, doesn't wave or smile, but he needs to know they're there. To him, they're the whole point. I kept wondering who was the extremely hot twink in the corner with the Mick Jagger criteria December children's haircut. I was shocked when it turned out to be engineer Alan Parsons. Yes, the guy from Alan Parsons' Project. That messes with my head, or as John would say, it turns me off, but blows me mind and floats me upstream. You could always read a bitchy George level by his facial hair. He only shaves when he's in a cheery mood, so he shows up all fresh-faced, all smiled, but stubble means trouble. Even after he rejoins the Beatles, he's still weary. He's got a mangy beard, but then he walks in with a nice tidy mustache and you realize, yes, he feels like a fab again. Here comes the sun. Linda and Paul come out as fans of Help, the band's much malignated? I don't even know what that is. Oh my gosh. 1965 comedy. I guess it wasn't too good. If Peter Jackson ever does an 8-hour edit of Help, he can count on my support as a customer. Ringo plucks out Octopus's Garden at the piano. All right, where am I? All right. Ringo plucks out Octopus's Garden at the piano. Everybody chuckles, but George comes over with his guitar and helps Ringo turn it into a real song, asking for zero credit, even though he's having enough trouble getting the band to consider his own tunes. The generosity here says so much about these two. On his 80th birthday TV special last year, Ringo explained how George helped him write. I can write it all, but I can't end it. So he'd end my songs for me. Late in the episode, too, John, George, and Ringo play I Lost My Little Girl, the first song Paul ever wrote at 14, about his mother dying. Fairly obvious, he admitted later. A heavy moment, but a discreet one. Nobody else in the room could have any idea what this song was or what it meant. As always, they communicate in Beatle code, as John called it. A private language only these four friends can share. Linda's toddler Heather was a rocker. When she screams into the mic, John says, Yoko! Best moment. Everyone sits in the mixing room to debate production on the long and winding road. Man, now there's a wasted conversation. Heather climbs up to stand on Paul's lap and brush his hair. George mooses about a solo album saying, I'm just going to do a bit for me. He presents a sensible plan for how the band could preserve the Beatles bit, just doing their own music on the side. John suggests that they could all play on George's record, but it's still bullshit that All Things Must Pass, They're a Drum, and Old Brown Shoe didn't make the album. Isn't it a pity? Up on the roof, the jubilation that sweeps over John's face as he sings I Dig a Pony. He totally forgotten his power to make music like this. All four Beatles separately tiptoed to the edge to sneak a peek at street level below. It's not exactly a cool crowd. The Doc's only boring moments are the street interviews. But it's their first audience in years. John gets excited, yells, Peace on Earth! George tries to act blasé, but he can't resist taking a look despite himself. Ringo's peak is the best. He smiles and lingers there just a moment too long. The scene where Paul wonders if the band can survive if George, John, and Yoko want to bail. The dialogue has circulated on bootlegs for years, but until now, nobody knew it was on camera. I'll tell you what, that film is powerful. Peter Jackson told me last year, I was aware of the audio. It's one thing to hear the dialogue, but see the emotion on their faces when they're having that conversation. It's very powerful. That's the mystery at the heart of Get Back. How it is that we keep hearing ourselves in this music. People all over the world from all different generations and cultures, even though most of us weren't born back then. Why does the world keep dreaming the Beatles? They're only the icons they are because the music was so majestically good, Jackson told me. There's a joy in the songs that they sang. In decades and decades to come, it will never be dulled. It will never be suppressed. That joy, that infectious joy, is part of the human psyche now. And that joy is all over Get Back. Boy, I cannot wait to see this thing. If there was any of it, I couldn't play it anyway because I'd get a copyright strike. So I hope the stream is going good. And I am going to sign off of Rolling Stone magazine. Oh, I am not affiliated with Rolling Stone magazine in any way. I don't get any money from Rolling Stone for using this magazine. I do have a subscription, so I don't get too many ads, but it seems like they're still endless. So I'm going to get out of here and shut this off. Hopefully it won't ruin the stream. All right. Oh, well. Here we go. All right. Live and on the spot. You never know what's going to happen. Okay. I guess a few of my tracks weren't synced properly, so they kept getting mishmashed. So I had to use an overdub on an existing track. And for all you equipment nerds, don't worry, I'll figure this stuff out someday. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed the show. And until next time, till next Monday night, peace, love, music for all. Just check one more time, see if anybody's here. Nah, nobody loves me tonight, but that's okay. Tune in every Monday night, and yeah, tune in, and I'll be here every Monday, 7:30. Any comments or questions are greatly appreciated. So don't forget, hit the like and subscribe button. That helps me keep doing what I'm doing here. And I mostly enjoy this, except for when the electronics don't go my way. And it doesn't have anything to do with the electronics. It has to do with the person working it. So with that in mind, we'll keep getting better over here at NJ Bass Academy. Sometimes you win, sometimes you don't. And I think my bass was out of tune, and tonight was kind of just a disaster. So, hey, it's all an improvisation. That's the way it goes. Sometimes it's great, sometimes it's not. Peace, love, and music for all. I love all you guys. Thank you so much for subscribing and taking the time to watch my show. I greatly appreciate that. Until next week, out.